there's so much shit with the Ukraine. It's like it's hard and it's stupid to me to take like this like it's disingenuous that people like within 1 week are all of a sudden these like humanitarians for the Ukrainian people. It's like, dude, you don't know anything that's happening. You don't know. Like you didn't even know half of you didn't even know Ukraine was a country last week, dude. You know, and now all of a sudden it's your number one thing. You know, it's like it just seems like, you know, and then it's like I've almost come to this general rule of thumb that I think is pretty good, which is whatever first story you hear about something is the wrong one. Because anytime I ever hear something like a new news story pops out and that's the first thing I hear, within 1 week, I hear how most of that shit is wrong. And I think that's part of training from a young age. You first hear that the way presents get under your tree is from Santa Claus. And then you learn that that's not how presents get under your tree. You first hear that Christopher Columbus discovered America. And then you learn all the other shit. And that actually there was like these people here first. And it's like, okay. So like, it's almost like this weird like pattern where like we first hear, like there's so much shit about like the Ukraine thing, like that I wanted to be true that wasn't true. Like the fucking, you know what I wanted to be true?
What?
You hear about the ghost of Kiev?
No.
I'm going to keep saying Kiev because fuck saying Kiev. Because that's how we all said it up until last week. The ghost of Kiev was this Ukrainian fighter pilot who was apparently flying around and like just dusting all these fucking Russian planes. Mm-hmm. And he like apparently had like 6, 7 taken out. And everybody was like sharing these news stories like the ghost of Kiev. It turns out that wasn't real. And then there was this other story, like, and I was like pissed. I was like, dude, that's badass. So why can't that be real? Yeah. You know? And then there was this other thing. You probably heard about this, where like the fucking Russian warships were coming in. These guys were on like a base, and then the Russians are like, lay down your weapons, surrender. And then the Ukrainians are like, Russian warship, go fuck yourself. And then the fucking Russians killed them. You hear about that at all?
No.
Well, that was like a big thing. That was like a big thing. And then it turns out they did say, go fuck yourself to the Russians. Good move, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm only getting more
I saw it near the mixer, and I was like, let me avoid
yeah, this is
another warranty.
Yeah, brutal. How many times can you activate a warranty? I wanted that to be true. And then it turns out that they did say, go fuck yourself. And then they surrendered.
Oh,
which, you know what? Good. Like,
yeah,
that's what you should do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why are like there's 13 of you. There's an entire Russian naval battleship coming to your base. You don't surrender. What happened? You die.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
They could just let the boat keep rolling.
Yeah,
cut your shit in half.
Like, literally, just go right through you.
Yeah,
like we're not gonna stop. You know, we are a fucking battleship. But it's like you put yourself in that position. It's like, what would I do? I'll tell you what I do. I'd probably fucking surrender. Like, I would probably be like, all right, let's look at this logistically. When I was a kid and I was like more like, you know, when you're a kid, you don't get shit. You're like, I can't believe anybody ever surrenders in war, dude. You got to like die for blah, blah. It's like, you got to think like chess. You got to think like, okay, there's 13 of us. There's like 4,000 of them on this ship with bombs and missiles. If we say go fuck yourself and then fight them, we'll all be dead within the minute. Probably. Likely within the next 10 minutes, just for them to like load up the bomb and like get finished laughing on board. Like, hey, they just said, go fuck yourself. And I was like, one second.
They could also just line up like 100 dudes on the ship and then just spray down. Not even aim, just completely spray down the whole base.
It's like, and what have you accomplished by dying in that situation? You've accomplished nothing. You've just literally, your life is gone. And then the Russians are in the same position they were a minute ago. So it's like there are times when surrender makes sense, and I think that was one of them. So when I heard that first story that didn't include the fact that they did eventually surrender, I was like, those Ukrainians are some crazy motherfuckers, dude. And then I heard they did surrender. I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God they surrendered. You know? Or at least like retreat. I would have retreated. I would have gotten a fucking dinghy boat and just fucking back to the mainland. Told everybody what I saw. I don't know.
Is this kind of like their version of like a John Henry or like a Paul Bunyan?
What?
Like a modern day, the ghost of Kiev?
I think maybe, yeah. I think that it's war propaganda. which isn't always bad. Like, you need like shit to motivate people.
Sometimes it's cool, like 0 Dark 30.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, you know, fucking the one with Mark Wahlberg where he's the last man standing. Is it called Last Man Standing?
I think so. 0 Dark 30 sounds more familiar. Last Man Standing is at the same event.
It's a different movie, I think.
Paul Bunyan. I'm not Paul Bunyan. Paul Revere. That probably didn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being honest.
I mean, it might have happened.
Because that probably did happen because it's not that crazy. Like, they didn't have phones back then.
But
You saw the
everyone's
British.
just trying to, like, relive that greatness. And they're like, we got to have our own Paul Revere.
But, like, really, how great was that? Because in reality, he just saw him, and then he was like, oh, shit. And then he, like, sprinted away and just yelled through the town, the British are coming, the British are coming, somebody get him. And then it's like, he's like a legend. It's like, okay, dude, like, I could do that. If I saw British coming,
I could be a bitch.
I could do that. Give me a fucking raccoon hat. I'll fucking ride through the city in a Nissan Altima. Ride through fucking Thames Street with a Nissan Altima. The fucking Russians are coming, and then sprint up 83. I would do that. That's not that. And then people would make a story about that. The great Jim Revere. How many people did he kill, Dad? None. He just yelled really loud as he was escaping.
The PA state lines. Get out for the summer.
Yeah, dude. No, look, again, I always run the risk of sounding disrespectful. I'm just trying to be what was formerly known as honest. I wish the best for all people involved. You know that the average Russian soldier is just as pissed off he has to be there as the average Ukrainian soldier. It's very difficult to convince yourself that your life is worth losing. And the Russians are notorious for fucking not giving a shit about their people. Like, I mean, like, we've talked about that last year, that like, or was not last year, but last week, or on somebody else's podcast, about like, they lost the most people in World War II, like by far, maybe even more than any other country combined, or something crazy like that. I don't want to say.
They just had the fucking numbers.
They just
kept sending people in.
They were sending people in with like no weapons. Yeah. Just like fucking just marching through the snow.
Yeah,
just
get
like
shit along the way. A bunch of people died. Pick up their loot. Fucking just keep marching.
Yeah, literally. And like the Nazi soldiers were like literally just going insane, just mowing down hundreds of them at a time and like running out of ammo. And just like having like, they couldn't do it anymore because it felt like it was murder. So like the Nazi soldiers were like being incapacitated by like feeling weird about how many people they were killing. They were like, should we keep, it was like they were in a weird like simulation of like Grand Theft Auto where you're just running around killing people in the city. Yeah. Like, is this right? Shouldn't something be happening here? So like the Russians, they do that. That's their thing, I guess, you know? And it's like, so they're not giving up.
No, they're lemmings.
Is Putin going to give up? Let's be honest. No. He's going to take Ukraine, dude. He's going to fucking take Ukraine. I'm sorry, but like right now, either the only way I can see it from my incredibly uneducated position on this is Vladimir Putin just started a war with basically the rest of the world. That's balls, dude. That's fucking balls. I'm not doing that. If I even heard France had a problem with something I was doing, and France is like, come on. But even if they were like, I don't think you should do that, I'd be like, all right, maybe I shouldn't. I don't want to fuck with the French people. He knows that once he did what he did, the entire world is like, dude. But he knows that at the end of the day, we're going to do our little fucking thing here. Sanctions, blah, blah, blah. But at the end, we're going to put up a face to make it act like we're not complete pussies. But at the end of the day, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to make any war moves, I hope. Because then we're in a war with Russia.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're just like mediating a fight. Like your friend is at the bar. He's talking shit. He gets in a fight with another guy. And then they're fighting. And it's like, well, I'm not going to punch that. Now I'm going to be in a fight too. It's like, not your friend. Ukraine is like your friend's friend. Like they're not in NATO with us.
And they weren't like, they're not even there with you tonight. You just happened to see them at the bar about to get in a fight.
Yeah, you didn't even like we were hanging out together, like you, me, Alex, and then we run into fucking our Ukrainian friend.
Yeah.
Let's call him Max. We run into our Ukrainian friend, and he's about to get in a fist fight. And we're like, oh, I remember Max. We went to a couple parties and listened to dubstep and shit, but like that guy's pretty fucking, he's like about to get beaten up by a group of guys. Like I might be like, hey, dude, let's settle down. But if worse comes to worse, am I getting in a fucking fist fight with this big group of guys?
Probably not.
Probably not. If it was you, yeah. If it was Alex, yeah. It's Ukraine?
I haven't seen you in a while, man. I don't know. We haven't talked in a while.
I don't know who started
I gotta
what.
see where you're at first, because also they might have a reason to.
Yeah,
come,
like
you know?
what's, I'm not just going to put myself. So it's like that's kind of what's going on here. And like Putin knows that. And like Ukraine, more power to him for like putting up the fight. But it's.
No, I mean, like, I think, obviously Putin's the bad guy here. I wonder if he's like what goes through your mind as that person in this situation where you're just like, I'm fine with just having everyone turn against me, be in the history books as the bad guy unless I clutch it out and take over the world. Is he dying? Like, is this his like fucking like fuck you?
See, this is, I guess, that's kind of my whole point, is that because I don't, in order for me to definitively say, like, I don't subscribe to that whole thing, like what they said about like Hitler, or they said about like Stalin, or any of these guys, Castro, like, you do something that's fucked up in history, and then the rest of the eternity, the history books look back on you and just say you were a fucking crazy wacko. It's like, and then so like,
wait, why are you saying that about Hitler?
Because I'm saying that, like, when you look at Hitler and you look at the Nazis, it's like, it's kind of like just naive to simply say that Hitler and every single person that went along with what he did was just a wacko. Like, all fucking million people that fucking were Nazis were just insane people. Like, no, like, that's a thing that the thing that you're supposed to take away from that time period is that is something that humanity is capable of. And like, what were Hitler's motivations for doing it? What were the people's motivations for believing it and following it? Mm-hmm. People like were to just look at anything that you don't understand in history and go fucking nuts. It's like, okay, well, that's how you doom yourself to repeating it, because you have failed to acknowledge the causes of how a regular person could get to the point of being in a concentration camp. Like if they couldn't have just done that in one day, they couldn't have just like gone from like just living like regular people and the next day just breaking in people's houses and dragging them to concentration. You couldn't do that. It had to be a gradual thing. It had to be like, okay, well, now you guys can't do this, and now you guys have to wear this thing, and now you guys have to live over here. And now we're taking it. It's like a gradual thing. It's a like progressive normalization, where it's kind of like we were talking about before with the Joe Rogan thing, where like you do this, and then all of a sudden, if you're trying to get to here from here, you don't just go here, you go boom. Okay, well, we took one step, we can take one more step. Okay, well, this is only one more step than the last step, and then all of a sudden you're here. Because you're doing it gradually. So like, you look at guys throughout history like Hitler and things like that, and like the Nazis who followed him, like the people that were in concentration camps, you try to understand, how did that happen? How was that able to happen? And then you have a deeper understanding of how to prevent it. And that's why you should learn about history, and you should learn it in the context of like, no, these are real people with real motivations. I don't understand Putin's motivations. It's not enough for me to just sit here and be like, he's a dick. Mm-hmm. It's not, I'm sorry, but like, I don't think that it's that simple. I don't think
like he probably is a dick.
I'm sure he's a dick.
But it's still like, why the fuck is he doing this?
Exactly. So I don't know
if
why.
If you're a dick, you'd do something else. If you were a dick, you would have been like, you know what, we're just not going to sell you guys gas for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a dick move.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, that is a dick. Like, if he did that, we'd be like, fucking dick.
Yeah.
He starts a world war. We're like, all right, maybe this guy's more than just a dick. Maybe there's something going on here. Maybe there's something that the average person doesn't understand. I'm willing to say that I don't have my hands on all the facts about this situation, and therefore it would seem incredibly disingenuous or stupid of me to take a hardline stance if I don't even know what the fuck I'm standing for. That doesn't mean that I don't feel for the people of Ukraine. It doesn't mean that I don't think Putin's a dick. It just means that I'm not going to sit here and act like I fucking understand the situation to its fullest, and I'm going to fucking put my whole thing on this or that, you know? It just seems like a lie to me. It seems fake, you know? Regardless, I would rather not see us get fucked with, you know? We got enough stuff going on right now, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not trying to see that happen.